The mandatory cybersecurity standard documents posture against 10 security outcomes. The protective security requirements maps personnel, physical and information security as an integrated structure. Gartner projected 40% of enterprises will demote or decommission autonomous agents by 2027 after discovering governance gaps following deployment rather than before it. That is the wrong sequence. The advisory is requiring the right one. Name the executive, confirm the compliance flaw, then engage. The full episode is on Cyber Sunday, the Hamberger Report. Link in bio.
Let's get into it.
In June 2026, the National Cybersecurity Advisory Body published guidance that most New Zealand boards are not ready for. This is the Hamberger Report. I'm Andreas Hamberger, Enterprise Architect and Board Director, Wellington. The guidance is direct. Before any interaction with Frontier AI, a named executive must hold accountability for Frontier AI cyber risk, and the organization must have confirmed compliance against 3 specific frameworks. Not a committee, not a policy, a named person. Most boards have delegated AI governance to a technology steering group or absorbed it into a broad digital risk category that is now below the floor the advisory sets. This episode breaks down what the advisory actually requires, why the timing matters, and the 3 questions every board needs to answer before its next Frontier AI decision. The timing is structurally significant. The mandatory cybersecurity standards first reporting period closed on 30 April 2026. Mandated agencies spent 6 months completing their first self-assessment against 10 mandatory security standards. The advisory lands immediately after that closure. The question has shifted from what is our posture to is our posture sufficient to engage with Frontier AI? For private sector organizations, the sequence is instructive. The government framework has created a documented checkpoint if your organization cannot answer the same question with comparable rigor. The gap is not regulatory, it is governance. Gartner projected that 40% of enterprises will demote or decommission autonomous agents by 2027 after discovering governance gaps following deployment rather than before it. That figure describes exactly what the advisory tells government agencies not to do. Engage first. Discover the gap second. Fix it under pressure. The capability environment has also moved. Claude for Fable 5 reached general availability on 9 June 2026. Organizations that finalized AI adoption policies 12 months ago are working from documents written for a substantially different world. Before we go further, a word on what is coming to this channel. The Lethal by Design series is running on Fridays right now, examining the accountability gap in military AI and autonomous weapon systems. New episodes every Friday. The series is in the description. Now, the 3 frameworks each addresses a different dimension of the same underlying question. The New Zealand Information Security Manual version 3.9 covers authentication controls and access review and audit. A Frontier AI deployment that operates on top of authentication controls that do not meet that standard is a deployment where access risk has not been addressed at the layer. The mandatory cybersecurity standard translates those requirements into 10 mandatory outcomes with a defined assessment cycle. An organization engaging with Frontier AI before completing their documentation has chosen to engage without the baseline evidence to support the engagement. The protective security requirements addresses personnel security, physical security, and information security as an integrated framework. Frontier AI introduces new questions in each dimension. Who may interact with the system? What physical controls govern the terminals, and what classification of information may enter the model? Skipping the framework is not an efficiency gain. It is a decision to operate without the structure designed for exactly this situation. Accountability in governance is different from responsibility in management. Responsibility can be shared, delegated, or distributed. Accountability is owned by a person. When something goes wrong, a specific individual answers for it. The advisory asks organizations to reach that point before engaging with Frontier AI, not after. The usual corporate governance sequence is deploy, discover the risk, assign accountability under pressure, attempt to remediate. The advisory reverses that, assign accountability first, confirm the compliance baseline, then engage. That reversal has practical implications. It means someone at executive level has read the authentication and access review requirements and understood what they mean for a frontier AI deployment. It means someone has confirmed the organization's posture has been formally assessed rather than assumed. It means a specific person can answer in a board meeting the question most boards have not yet asked: what is our current compliance posture against the 3 frameworks required before frontier AI engagement? For government agencies, this now has regulatory context. The proposed critical infrastructure cybersecurity framework includes personal accountability provisions that would apply to directors of qualifying entities. The proposed entity fine reaches the greater of 5 million New Zealand dollars, or 2% of turnover. These remain proposed measures, not enacted law, but the direction of travel is clear, and the advisory is already requiring accountability now, ahead of any legislative enforcement. The advisory does not name every intersection, but one belongs alongside it. The Privacy Amendment Act 2025 brought the indirect collection notification obligation into force on 1 May 2026. Any frontier AI tool that ingests third-party data without direct notification to those individuals is now operating inside an active legal obligation. Security and privacy frameworks do not overlap cleanly. A board that treats them as parallel programs managed separately has created a gap frontier AI deployments fall into. The question is whether someone at executive level has mapped the data flows through both frameworks simultaneously. The wider signal is convergence. The 5-country council network that co-authored the Agentic AI guidance in May 2026 has been signaling the same direction: deliberate adoption, governance confirmed before engagement, accountability named before deployment. Cybersecurity agencies in Five Eyes partner nations have integrated AI threat assessments into annual reporting with increasing specificity. State-aligned threat actors associated with China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran have documented capability in AI-assisted reconnaissance and network penetration. The vulnerability storm framing in the advisory reflects the same operational reality those allied assessments describe. For any organization holding data whose compromise would carry national security consequences, the advisory's accountability requirement is a first line of defense requirement, not a compliance checkbox. 3 questions your board should be able to answer before its next frontier AI decision. First, can your executive team name the person who holds explicit accountability for frontier AI cyber risk in your organization? Not the committee, not the program, the person. Second, has your organization completed a documented assessment of its posture against the 3 frameworks the advisory names as preconditions for frontier AI engagement? If the assessment has not been completed, what is the program for completing it, and when does the board next receive a status update? Third, has someone mapped your proposed frontier AI deployment against both the authentication and access requirements and the privacy obligations that govern the data the deployment would process? If the answer to any of these questions is not yet, that is the board's agenda item, not a deferral item. The advisory is not waiting for the governance environment to stabilize. It has already said what stabilization looks like. The National Cybersecurity Advisory speaks to government agencies, but the accountability principle it articulates reaches further. The direction of travel across allied nations is converging. Organizations waiting for the governance environment to stabilize before committing to a frontier AI posture are watching it stabilize in real time. The framework is named Appoint the Executive, Confirm the Compliance Flaw, then Engage. That sequence, if it is followed, closes the gap the advisory identifies. If it is not followed, the organization is on the wrong side of a standard that is already in force for government agencies and is heading for the private sector. The full article with references and the LinkedIn source is in the description. If you're working through your organization's frontier AI posture and you found this useful, subscribe to Cyber Sunday, new episodes every week. See you next Sunday. That is the Hamberger report for today. If this was useful, subscribe and hit the like button. It helps more professionals find the channel. You will find links to everything we covered in the description below. I am Andreas Hamberger, and I will see you tomorrow.
Like and subscribe.